She waited too long to spend her own money. That's what a woman named Carol told me, 3 months after she retired from a school district in Ohio. She had done everything right. 31 years teaching 4th grade. Every paycheck, a little more into her retirement account. By the time she retired, she had almost $700,000 saved, and she was miserable. Not because she didn't have enough, because she couldn't make herself spend any of it. Here's the strange part. The number in her account kept growing, but her quality of life didn't move an inch. And when I sat down with her, she said something I haven't forgotten. I wish I had spent more before I stopped working. Not less, more. That sentence is the whole story today, because there's a version of retirement planning nobody talks about. It's not about saving enough, it's about spending at the right time. And getting that timing wrong can cost you years you don't get back. Let's talk about why this happens. Because it's not really about money, it's about your brain. When a paycheck stops coming in, something shifts. Even if you have plenty saved, your mind doesn't feel safe anymore. It starts treating every withdrawal like a threat. Financial psychologists call it a scarcity mindset. Your brain doesn't compare your spending to your actual balance. It compares it to zero income. And zero income feels like danger, even when the math says otherwise. So people who spent freely for 30 years suddenly can't bring themselves to buy new tires, or take the trip they planned for a decade, or fix the roof that's been leaking since spring. Carol had the money. What she didn't have, once she retired, was the confidence to use it. And that's the trap. Because there are certain expenses that are actually easier and cheaper to handle before you retire, not after. Let's walk through them. First, your health. While you're still working, you likely have employer coverage. It's usually stronger than what most people get after 65. Vision and dental, especially, often aren't included once you move to Medicare, unless you pay extra for a supplemental plan. A man named Raymond, an electrician outside Charlotte, North Carolina, told me he waited on a crown for 2 years because he figured he'd get to it eventually. By the time he retired, that same procedure cost him almost triple. Out of pocket. He said fixing it before he left his job would have saved him real money and real stress. Second, housing. If you're thinking about downsizing or moving somewhere warmer or closer to your grandkids, lenders want to see steady income, a W-2 paycheck. Once that paycheck disappears, qualifying for a mortgage gets a lot harder, even with a strong net worth. A couple in Tucson, Arizona, Denise and Marcus, learned this the hard way. They waited until retirement to downsize from their 4-bedroom home. The mortgage approval took months longer than expected, and the rate they qualified for was noticeably worse than what they could have locked in a year earlier, while Marcus was still working as a warehouse supervisor. Third, your home itself. New roof, updated HVAC, better insulation. These aren't exciting purchases, but they're a lot easier to write a check for, while income is still coming in every 2 weeks. Because here's the thing about retirement. You end up spending far more time inside that house. If it's falling apart around you, that piece you were saving for never actually arrives. Now, here's where it gets personal. Fourth, transportation. A reliable car, paid off, before you retire. Not the flashiest one, just one you trust. People consistently say this removes a layer of stress they didn't expect. Car trouble on a fixed income feels different than car trouble on a salary. Fifth, and this is the one people regret the most, the trips, the experiences, the things you kept saying. Next year. A retired nurse from Sacramento, California, named Linda, told me she and her husband had planned a trip to Portugal for 15 years. They kept pushing it back. Then his knees started giving him trouble. Then her balance wasn't what it used to be. The money was always there. The window to actually enjoy it started closing without them noticing. This is the part that stings. It's not that people run out of money in retirement. Most of my clients, the ones who planned well, don't. It's that they run out of the years where spending that money still feels good. where the body cooperates, where the memory sticks. Booking that trip now, prepaying for it while you're still earning, does two things. It locks in the cost, and it puts a date on the calendar that your future self can't talk you out of. I want to be clear about something. This isn't permission to be reckless. It's not about draining your savings on a whim. It's about recognizing that saving and spending require two completely different mindsets, and most of us only ever practice one of them. For 30, 40 years, you trained yourself to hold on to money. Nobody trains you to let go of it. So, when the paycheck stops, that old habit doesn't just disappear. It gets louder. Carol, the teacher from Ohio, eventually worked with someone to build a real spending plan, not just a savings plan. Dental work first, then a modest kitchen update she'd wanted since 2018. Then, finally, the Alaska cruise she'd been pricing out for years. She told me later that the trip didn't scare her the way she thought it would, because by then, she had permission, not from her bank account, from herself. If there's one thing worth remembering from all of this, it's simple. The money was never the hard part. Believing you're allowed to use it, that's the hard part. So, if you're a few years out from retirement and there's something you've been putting off, a repair, a procedure, a trip you keep pricing and never booking, this might be the moment to move on it. Not recklessly, just intentionally. Because someday isn't a plan. It's just a delay, wearing a nicer name. If you want more videos like this, ones that make money feel less confusing and a lot more human, stick around and subscribe to Money IQ Pro. We break down real financial decisions, the kind you're actually facing, in plain, simple language. You worked hard to build this life. Don't forget to actually live in it.